All right, cool. We're live here. I believe everything's working out. I'm just going to check this to make sure that the page is working. I see there's already a number of people on the chat. And if you can see this, and please just chat here and say, yes, I'm here. Maybe say where you are so that we can know that this is working as it's supposed to. And we've got Kasper Korjus on the line here. And I'm going to introduce him in a second once I'm sure that we're all up and running. Let's see. In our makeshift studio here in Reñaca, Chile. Let's see. I think so. It's still loading. Anyways, yes from Germany. Okay, so it looks like we are good. So that's great. We have pulled this off. I'm in Reñaca, Chile, here at the Exosphere lecture room. You can see around. We've got lots of people around. You can look at all the students. And we're having a great time. And we're happy to be joined by Kasper Korjus, who's the program director of the Estonia e-residency program. We talk a lot about technology and kind of the future of business and things like that here at Exosphere and also with Borderless. So I thought that this would be a great person for us to talk to. And so, Kasper, I think last time that, well, first of all, let me just make sure that you are there and we can hear you. So how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Nice to see you.
Okay, I'm going to have to turn your mic up a little bit. You're very low. Okay, how about now?
Hi, I'm Kasper. Can you hear me?
It's still pretty echoey. But that's okay. And everybody else in the chat, let us know in the chat how it sounds. Anyways, let me pull up the chat and make sure that we have it here. So maybe you just want to introduce yourself. Let us know about the Estonia e-residency, like a quick minute or two explaining the background. I think a lot of people, if they clicked onto this and they realize what it is, maybe they know a little bit about it. Maybe you can just do a quick introduction of yourself and what you're trying to do there in Estonia.
Yeah, I'm Kasper Korjus, and I'm running this e-residency then. It's a transnational digital identity scheme. So basically, whoever hasn't seen that, this is e-residency box where there is a card in, you can become e-Estonian. Estonia is part of the EU member, and we launched this program 1.5 years ago. It's like governmental startup in a sense. We exactly didn't know where it all ends up and why we're doing it and to whom. But together with you guys and the residents, we actually are progressing quite fast. Guys, can you hear me? Just nod me if you hear me. Does anyone hear me from the audience?
People are there chatting.
So you can't hear me. Great.
Stream stopped working. Huh. These are probably these Google Hangouts problems. Are other people watching on the live? And is it streaming? Somebody said that it stopped. Anyways, it's going. I guess for some people it stopped, but yeah. Okay. Kasper, you can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I guess there's a long lag, but how does his audio sound? Anyways, I think we're good. So just this is being recorded, so just go ahead and I'm sorry, I'll put the mic under. So yeah, so this is being recorded, so I don't know if people can see this or hear this. It seems like a lot of people are watching. If there's a problem with the audio or something like that, please let us know. So anyways, Kasper was just letting us know about the program and what they're doing there. So if you could just continue with that.
Yeah. So basically, e-residency for you guys, like for startups especially, it means two things mainly. First is about business ecosystem so that you can actually become an e-resident. You can establish company online, bank account, payment solution, digital signature, and those things will give you a possibility to run your business location independent. And one of the main values what people bring out usually is the access to services. Like for example, many countries around the world don't have access to payment services, hence you can't collect different currencies. And with the e-residency, for example, you establish company bank account and you have access to payment providers and you can start selling things online. And this is one of the main reasons why people want to join that. But of course, other reasons are very hassle-free business environment, good tax possibilities if you're eligible to pay taxes, and otherwise user-friendly way how you can run your company. And then the other let's say product is for you to understand that e-residency is actually a platform, so that whatever service you have, you can integrate yourself into that, let's say, app store and offer new services to e-residents. And there are many examples of that platform use cases. For example, if you're from fintech industry, then you may find it useful to scale your services. So sometimes you need lots of KYC things and you need to do local integrations with local markets. And together with e-residency, you don't need to do that. You can just tell your customers that if they want to start using your service, become an e-Estonian, and you have access to your service. And because of the APIs, it's fairly easy to implement that. So this is one use case of the platform. Other use cases, next week we are going to launch press release with Nasdaq, for example, and with other fintech companies. You can imagine that the future of how companies are managed on internet will change dramatically, because now government can actually confirm that this is you who you claim to be on internet, and that's why you can actually start using different services. Lots of interest comes from blockchain technologies, where digital identity is important when it comes to different e-notary services, e-stamping, different wallets are making integrations. And so, all in all, basically two products which you might be useful. One is to do business. It's lots more hassle-free. It can give you access to services, and is user-friendly through e-Estonia. And other is this platform where you can integrate your services itself and start become a member of this e-residency platform.
Okay. All right, great. I think we've worked out all the technical stuff. It seems to be working great, and we can hear you. And thanks for that introduction. And so right about now, what has it been, about a year and a half or something? If you could let us know how long you've been doing the e-residency program and how many people that you have currently that are e-residents.
Yeah, so we launched the Alpha program so that you have to visit twice to Estonia to become e-resident in 2014 December. So after half a year, so last year in May, we opened 38 foreign embassies. So now if you want to become e-resident, you apply online at eresident.gov.de. You fill in the application form, and then Estonia is doing background check of you. And after like 2-3 weeks, you need to visit one of the 38 foreign embassies. And then you give fingerprints, you identify yourself with passport, and then you receive this e-residency card, which gives you all the accesses you need. And this was the beta, this 38 foreign embassies. And the last year goal was to have 2,000 e-residents, but actually we achieved over 8,000 e-residents. So now we have over 8,000 e-residents, and we are fairly happy with that, because many of them establish new companies and run them through Estonia. And what happens this year is that we are going to open embassies internationally. We are going to launch different visa centers, so that you don't need to even visit the Estonian embassy, but anywhere where visa center is close to you, in every city basically. We are going to change some legislation which further makes your business easier. For example, e-residents can start opening bank accounts also online. At the moment, for bank accounts, you need whether to visit Estonia or through power of attorney, some Estonian service provider can offer you that. But still, it's not so hassle-free as it should be.
Okay, all right. That's so I didn't. I'm sorry if I missed it. I didn't hear the number of people that you have that are residents right now.
Over 8,000.
Oh, over 8,000. Okay, great. And so that's good. And you're expanding all the things that you're offering to people and stuff like that. And I think it's very interesting because a lot of people are seeing it as kind of like a startup model for cities, and people being able to opt in and out of whatever jurisdiction they want to. Especially this idea of having an online residency, I think is something that's new. It's interesting, and I've been interested in keeping up with this and how it shakes out. Have you had any type of pushback, or what types of challenges have you had with e-residency and all the things that you're trying to do? What have been your biggest challenges so far?
Mm-hmm. That's a great question, and definitely to run this very agile startup project in government is a challenge itself, because you kind of need to push very quickly all the legislative changes and everything else, and all the ministries need to work together. So definitely that is one challenge, and would like to be faster, even faster than we are. But then other challenges there. Actually, the project is doing pretty well, and private sector is opting in and wanting to develop new service and integrating, and e-residents are more and more happy. So at the moment we are quite fresh, but everybody seems to be rather happy.
Okay, great. I'm going to go to one question. So I asked people if they had some questions to email or chat in questions. We do have some, and I'm going to read one of the questions off the email first, since I said that was going to be the first ones we got to. So one, I think I can answer, but I'll run it by you, and that was, does an e-residency, is that all a step towards citizenship in Estonia?
So basically, we invented in Estonia a new, let's say, category. First, if you see this as a pyramid, first it's citizenship, then it's residency, and then it's e-residency. So they are all different, and they all have different rights. E-residency doesn't have any right to travel or vote, for example. It just has digital rights to access the services and become member of this society. My answering your question is that directly, no, it doesn't give you right to travel to Estonia or to work in Estonia or the EU in general. But having said that, then if you establish companies in Estonia and if you run those, then obviously Estonia has good intent to actually offer you those visas and those working permits, because you already have business, and that definitely is a good step towards the access to EU.
Okay, very, very good. Here's a second one that was emailed in, and he says, I'm an American citizen living abroad nomadically who has obtained Estonian e-residency. What can you tell me about the legality and or red tape of starting a Estonian business and paying myself as an employee, considering that I do not currently have Estonian residency, not like a non-e-tax residency? Is that a possibility? Can I only accept dividends as the non-employed business owner? Now, I think we all know here you are not like an accountant giving out tax advice, but but
the tax is important issue. We need to touch it somehow. So let's go a bit deeper into that tax issue. But first disclaimer, of course, is that I'm not the tax accountant or anyone advisor. So my answers really should not taken as truth. And if you really want to do business, then definitely you need to advise Estonian or your own tax lawyers. And in Estonia, as e-residency, there are many partners who offer you some free advice from beginning. Having said that, so basically the theory is that e-residency itself doesn't change any international tax rules. Usually the thing is that where you create value, there you pay taxes, right? So, and now the question is, because digital nomads also, like, people are traveling more and more, and you don't have like specific location. That's why all the today's tax issues are silly and kind of outdated. So that's why it is complicated issue, because every case is different. And now what has happened that the e-residents, what they do is that some of them want to pay taxes in Estonia, some of them don't want to pay taxes. It really depends on which country you're from. For example, if you have a double taxation avoidance agreement with Estonia or you don't have. What is the usual case is that people, e-residents, don't pay taxes in Estonia because the value is not great. But some countries, for example in Ukraine, it says that if a company is established in Estonia, then you pay taxes also in Estonia. So first of all, you need to find out which country you're from and where eventually those taxes are. Second, my advice is that what has happened so far, that if people are starting to pay taxes in Estonia, then they sometimes their own countries ask about taxes, and then they prove that they are paying in Estonian value is created there. And then it's all right, then it's just some paperwork for the first year, what you need to do to prove that you are paying to somewhere, and the Estonian tax board then gives all the information to you, all the papers that you have actually paid that, and then usually it's fine. But it's up to you eventually to see. It's e-residency is not the way how you can like avoid taxation, or e-residency is not another like tax paradise in that sense. It's more like to get access to services and have this hassle-free environment. And that's why I can't like say that whether it's directly you're paid or not. It really depends on your company.
Okay, cool. Now I've got some people here at the at Exosphere that have some questions. So first I've got Moritz here, and he's going to ask you a question.
Hi, thanks for taking the time to answer some questions. I'm Moritz. I'm here running the Hydro Startup Lab at Exosphere, and I have a question for you about what's kind of the end game of the Estonian e-residency program. Like, what's the goal that you're pursuing with it? And also, did you like push this to set it up, or did you like take on the job from somebody else who said this should be done?
Okay, so basically, how did I answer the first question, second question before that? How it started is that e-residence itself is in that sense not a new idea in Estonia. People have said that like 10 years ago already, Estonians have been using this card for over 16 years. So basically, I'm voting online using that card. I never voted on like physical booth machines. I'm digitally signing everything. E-prescriptions come here if I fall ill. I declare taxes using one click using this card. So this card is really inside of every Estonian's being for the last 16 years. And the idea that now let's give access so that foreigners would also get this card itself isn't anything so radically new. How it became a program was the CIO proposal that let's have 10 million e-Estonians, as Estonia we have only 1 million people. And this project idea won as best business idea in Estonia 1.5 years ago, and then they won scholarship, and then they gave that scholarship to me, so I started to run that program. So I started to run this 10 million e-residency program, but the idea itself goes 10 years ago, basically. This is your second question. And first question, what's the like purpose and stuff? Then you kind of have two visions in that sense. That the purpose of why Estonia is doing that is of course to increase the economic size of Estonia, because when we have just like million people, imagine that you're doing startup and you're targeting to million people, and then next to you there's a startup which is targeting to billion people, then eventually you're just not competitive enough. So that's why in Estonia we really need to increase our customer base, and now our customer base is like the whole world of e-residents. This is the Estonian perspective, to increase the economy size. But the vision in general, and what I see is that the world really needs a strong digital identity platform, and Estonia has been so far the best country which would offer you, and first transnational offer, which means that eventually in long term I see that on that platform of e-residency there will be tens of thousands of applications for e-residents, and it will be the platform which kind of really helps every person, really empowers every person on planet the same rights as people who are born in the countries where you have all the access and all the possibilities. Now e-residency should kind of democratize the whole world on the internet in that sense.
Okay, great. Thanks for that. I also have, I want to go to the chat now to make sure you guys there don't feel neglected. Olav says, I am a remote worker. Suppose I open a business in Estonia with e-residency. If I invoice a, for instance, Dutch company, will I pay Estonian income, corporate taxes, and avoid any problems with the Dutch IRS? What about VAT? So it seems like people are definitely thinking about this as far as tax purposes. Again.
Yeah. So I think the question was asked before my answer. So the answer is the same, that I can't say because I don't know your business. If you are doing just online business so that you don't have any location at all, then you perhaps can prove that your business activity is based also in Estonia, as you have physical address there, you have some perhaps accountants there, and you can say that you can pay Estonian income tax, and Estonian business income tax or corporation income tax is 0% if you reinvest that profit, so you basically don't pay any income then. So you only pay 20% if you take the money out as dividends. So in that sense, it's possible, yeah, that you don't pay. But again, the disclaimer is there that it depends on your business and where is your business activity and what eventually two tax boards agree on.
Hi, my name is Mac. I have 2 questions for you. Thanks for talking with us. We're here at the Exosphere Hydra Startup Bootcamp, and we're learning about how to make startups successfully grow and succeed. You are in the business of being an entrepreneur, taking on the task of innovating government. Now, to me, this seems like a more difficult thing to do. It seems like an institution that would be the last that would want to innovate. But what do you find to be the case over there in Estonia, and what kinds of challenges are different for you as a startup entrepreneur?
That's a great question, and thank you. I wouldn't say, in my experience, sorry, I'm hearing my voice again. Can you do something? Yes, thank you. So I wouldn't say in my own experience that governments don't want to innovate. Like, just the thing is that how governments are built, they are not built for those rapidly changing environments and digitalization what today happens, and all the world of blockchains and bitcoins and everything comes up so quickly that you cannot manage those regulations so quickly. You cannot have so much people who make the new regulations, new laws, new services again, and eventually everything is kind of crashed because it's just not comprehensible. So I wouldn't say that they don't want to innovate, just it's so complex and so difficult. So, but why Estonia? I think Estonia in that sense, it's good that it's a small country, that we can actually call to, I don't know, very important people, ministries, etc., and ask and say what's wrong and what do we need to change, and everything is like we can actually sit down and talk like what should be done. In that sense, it's definitely much easier than countries like US, where most probably it takes longer time to go through all the comprehensive legislations and stuff, etc. But having said that, then I wouldn't say that Estonia would be so different, that you still have different ministries, you still have your army, you still have different like functionalities like every country has. And the challenge then is, of course, that each ministry usually is defending their own goals, their own project plans, everything. And now comes e-residency, which kind of involves all the different ministries. Minister of Finance needs to make the changes in banking regulation. Minister of Internal Affairs needs to issue the cards. Ministry of Justice needs to change the business legislation. Ministry of Foreign Affairs need to issue the cards and embassies, etc. So all the ministries are kind of involved, and the challenge there is that how do you put all the ministries to work together in the same code, because every decision what we take kind of can weaken 5 ministries and make one ministry very strong, and then those 5 ministries kind of still need to go with you, and this is a challenge. And how we have like achieved the goals there, and is, I think, first of all, very important is that you would have vision, like strong and clear vision. Our vision is 10 million e-Estonians by 2025. and everybody understands why this is good for economy, and then you're kind of more willing to take up the chances and take the risks, basically. Second thing is, but I think not in government, but everywhere, it's like every person is different, and eventually it's just a matter of few persons who make those decisions, and they just need to be happy. They need to go with you. You need to understand who they are, what they want to get out of that, and just give it to them. And just speak with government employees as friendly as you with your friends and go. And third challenge and thing is definitely perhaps the business mindset itself. Like governments don't used to think as businesses. Like usually it's more about saving costs, not like how do we make profits, how do we make money, how each foreign ministry can start being a business, how would they scale, how would government actually start earning money to their country. Like, and this mindset of borderless government, borderless nations, digital nomads, the new world that's actually there, it is challenging to actually comprehend that today on internet we don't have borders. And actually, we need to create our nation state without borders. And to make this mindset change that's definitely a challenge.
Oh, thank you. Great answer. My second question is, I'm a biohacker, and last week over here, I got implanted with an NFC chip in my hand. So
Nice.
now I can like biologically and physically interface with computers. And
You don't be afraid of you don't afraid Big Brother then.
Say that again?
You're not afraid of Big Brother.
Well, this is my chip, and I get to write what I want on it.
Mm.
This is not something that was implanted in me at the time by a government. Right now, it's me and my friend.
Mm.
So I wanted to know, I'm just curious, technically, the smart ID cards how much information is on there? Like this chip is 888 bytes, and can I copy information from the card into my hand and use it to verify my identity? Is this something that anybody is interested in doing right now?
Great question also generally about technology and like tokens in that sense. That yes, the card itself, let's be honest, in 20 years time we don't have that kind of card most probably, so that technology will change. In Estonia we're using mobile ID, or then and soon we'll get also mobile ID, and perhaps the next thing is biometrics. I'm not personally too sure that people are willing to take government chips inside their bodies, and because that's even for me too much, I think. So well done. But you're not the government, so. But definitely things need to get more user friendly, because at the moment you need USB readers, ID cards, on mobile devices you even don't have such possibilities. So definitely things need to be more user friendly. When it comes to whether you can actually implement, then still it needs to be governmental projects, so the government issues you those NFC cards. You personally can't do that link. But the data itself would be possible to put that NFC chip, because basically on ID card chip it has just certificates that this is you, and you can verify with pin 1 and pin 2. So basically it doesn't have much information, it's just verification that this is you, and we can do that, and everything else is on internet already. So technically it is possible, is the answer. But I don't see that we are going to use that kind of chips, but perhaps biometrics in longer term is definitely the solution, yes.
Okay, great, thank you. And I'm going to go to one that was emailed in here. And so it says, what can you tell me about the legality and or red tape of starting an Estonian business and paying myself as an employee? Considering that, I did that one already? Oh, whoops, sorry. Never mind. I'll go to one from the chat then. Do you recommend going to live and spend time on the ground in Estonia? I'm thinking of going this summer. I think I know what your answer is going to be there.
Chile is of course beautiful also, but yes, during summer definitely I would recommend to visit Estonia. Many people have fallen in love in Estonia, and it's near the sea, it's warm weather, technology is great, and beautiful women and cheap alcohol.
Good.
Oh, hello. Hello, Kasper.
Hello.
I'm Antonio. I am a co-founder of Exosphere. And you know, I have lived 5 years in Estonia. From 2005 to 2008. I was
Nice.
going there. I set up a business there. It was an Italian fashion store in Virukeskus.
Viru is one of the most popular centers.
Yeah, yes, it was in Virukeskus. And you know, think about it. I was in Estonia in 2005, and I went there when Estonia was already using the chip in ID card. And
Yeah.
for an Italian like me from South Italy, going Estonia and using the chip card was already a kind of miracle there. That we are talking about, 10 years ago. And I really appreciate what Estonia is doing. I think that Estonia is one of the smartest countries in the world, for sure. Tallinn is a wonderful city. I was living in a wonderful Rataskäivu. I was living in Rataskäivu, and it was a very. So I just want to emphasize how Estonia is a kind of example as a country.
Thank you very much for the support.
I'm just a little bit disappointed that you just joined Europe. You because Estonia, when it was free, was more and more free to and I hope that you keep innovating as you are. You are not going to stop by the huge European regulation. So I just want to say this. Tallinn is one of my best cities.
Thank you. It's always better if a foreigner tells good stuff about that. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Ciao. And definitely we don't stop innovating. We just at the beginning, and we really see the world is very different in 20 years time. Like imagine why one government should be anyhow different than private sector company or startup, in the sense that it has its revenues, has taxes, and it has some business models, has some services. So if technology enables startups to scale internationally, then why government shouldn't scale? For the same reason, you have the products and you can scale internationally. And imagine that, then it doesn't really matter how big is your government, how big is your country, whether you're size of, US or size of Luxembourg. It matters how good is your product, how good are your services, and how many customers eventually we have. And eventually Luxembourg or Estonia can have more revenues than US if its product is better. And that really changes the whole nation state and things like how governments are and their purpose in general. And that we actually see through Estonian e-residency and other countries who are copying it. And it happens very fast. In the next 10 years, we can see that in your pocket, perhaps there are 5 different e-residency countries, and you can choose yourself where you do business, where you do other stuff. And that actually brings competitiveness, and that makes all the world a better place than that.
Hi, Kasper. Thanks for doing this talk. My name is Connor. I'm here representing BitNation. So I really like what you're talking about with competing non-geographical digital nations. My question is about verifying identity from different cryptography projects I've been involved with. It's really hard to tie a human being to a digital account. Like with an email, I can create any number of email addresses, and it seems like that is very important to know that each account for an e-resident corresponds to one person. So how do you solve that problem?
So yeah, how it is that on that chip, basically you have certificates. That every time you're entering into some service, you put PIN1, the password, and every time if this password matches, then through internet we check whether the certificate of yours is active and whether the PIN is correct. And if it's correct, then Estonia as a government guarantees that this is you who you claim to be on internet. And that's why when you speak about Bitcoin and blockchain in general, it is very valuable because we don't need to have any more those random users on internet to make transactions. We can actually have guaranteed persons so that not only the state guarantees that this is you, but also the legislation applies to you. So you can do all the stuff on internet which you could do otherwise only on physical world.
Okay, thanks. I think Mac has another question here.
Hello. So I'm interested in running a Bitcoin business with my e-residency. How long will it take me if I wanted to start right now? How long will it take me to go through that process? And do I have to go to the Estonian embassy in any country in order to complete the process? Also, I was reading that a law was passed last year that allowed e-residents to open bank accounts in 2016 without having to go to Estonia. Is that true?
Yes, thank you. So please go to www.eresident.gov.ee. I think e-resident is with slash or both ways. I'll just double check myself. eresident.gov.ee. It's like temporary web page, but it works. And basically there you can click apply. And then basically there is written what the application means. And there are different locations where you can pick up the car. It's written that it takes then approximately 3 weeks until you receive the card, so you need to consider that because the background check in Estonia is actually printing the card in Estonia and then sending the card to the embassy which is nearest to you, but you choose the embassy which is nearest to you. And then you go to the embassy and give fingerprints, identify with passport, then you receive the card which starts working straight away. So this takes approximately 3 weeks, but need to consider also maybe takes 4 weeks. So next step is an establishing company. There we have Estonian service providers listed on our website who can actually help you to do that, like getting physical address. It's like, I don't know, 10 euros per month even for some providers, and getting it all legally done. You can do it of course yourself also, but I personally advise, because we are still very fresh startup in a sense, that some help from private sector is still useful. And companies listed on the internet. So and then basically you can for bank account, then service providers can help you do it, perhaps some of them also digitally. But the truth is that yes, at the moment you need physical meeting to open that. And 2016 we are going to change the legislation that e-residents can open bank accounts online. The date is yet to be fixed, but my hope is that by 1st of July, all e-residents can open online bank accounts. Which doesn't mean that you are guaranteed a bank account. It's eventually still bank's decision whether they want you as a customer or not. So if you have a clear business idea and vision, then of course, so most probably you get it. But if you just, some e-residents just come and, hey, it's cool, I want bank account also, but don't have any idea or things why they want this, then banks usually don't give you that account. But after half a year, you should be able to do everything, the bank account also online.
Okay, great. Yeah, that was actually the next question somebody had was, is it necessary to go to Estonia for opening a corporate bank account? And is that changing? And if so, what time frame? But I think you addressed that, right? I'm not sure if you addressed the corporate bank account side of it.
It's the same, corporate or private, that it will be possible to do online after half a year, but at the moment you can consider contacting service providers, and some of them can open you digitally also through power of attorney, so you can kind of do power of attorney to them to open it for you. So these possibilities are also there, but the very user-friendly way opens up after half a year.
All right, cool. And do you know about the embassies here? So right now we're in Reñaca, Chile. It's Viña del Mar, about an hour and a half away from Santiago. Are there any embassies, or is the closest one Brazil?
In Brazil, actually city, there is embassy, Estonian embassy. If you take up e-residency.gov.e and then you can click on the apply button, and there you have click for details if you want to see exactly which countries, and you can see a map of countries and cities where at the moment embassies are open.
Okay, but I don't think, Chile, I don't think that there's one there. So. Okay.
No. But as I said, after half a year also we try to open over 400 locations internationally, so that actually you can start receiving the card from basically any city around the world. We are going to use visa centers, which are private sector companies who are doing then the fingerprints, biometrics, and identifying you. But at the moment there are Estonian embassies, yes.
All right. I also kind of wanted to ask you, because I know that not only do you work within the government there, but you also have helped started businesses, and you're also an entrepreneur yourself. This is an entrepreneurial boot camp, startup lab here that we're taking part in. Is there any advice or something you have for somebody? You're involved in kind of this the changing environment of borderless business. So is there anything specific that you're seeing, or a specific piece of advice maybe that you could give to people that are just starting to learn how to be an entrepreneur in today's world?
Well, I don't personally much believe in those advice givers. You just need to go to market and let customers guide you throughout the program. I didn't hear you because it was mute.
Oh shit. Okay, I said that's good advice too.
Yeah.
So, as far as Estonia itself, would you say that that's a good place for going, and for someone to go that is interested in working in online businesses, working with digital technologies? I know that you have a number of companies that have been based out of Estonia. Do you think this is a good place that young people from around the world should be going?
Definitely, there are different business hubs around the world, like FinTech in London. Just I visited Berlin, Amsterdam, many business hubs there. Definitely Singapore, Silicon Valley. Like each place has its different pros and cons, definitely. And I rather prefer this life of digital nomad in that sense, that why do we need to resonate with one country or one location too often? Like because my customers are e-residents. They are also international. That's why I'm traveling. That's why I'm learning from them. And nowadays, like digital services don't need to have one specific location. So in that sense, I would go with the flow wherever is your business community, wherever are your conferences, stay longer, be there where your customers are, where you want your customers have to be, and let all the administration issues be dealt through e-residency. For example, if other countries come, then you can consider them also, and those things shouldn't take your time. Those things you should concentrate on your business and sales and customers, not on administrating issues of and taxation. Outsource everything that.
All right, great. Well, we're going to be wrapping this up in a minute, but I would like to talk to you about the future of the Estonia residency program, and where you see it going. A little bit about your vision and how you think that this will look, say, in 5 years.
So yeah, in 5 years' time, I see that there are tens of thousands of new companies established by e-residents, and perhaps they make half of Estonian business revenue, which would give a lot of huge influence to Estonian government to actually start considering e-residency on every law what we are creating, because they should have the power to be in the voting system similarly as Estonians if they are making the money. So this will definitely change generally the soft feelings and values inside Estonia. But when it comes to the platform, how you can utilize e-residency to scale your services internationally in KYC purposes, or been like mentioned before, Bitcoin purposes, then definitely the platform will be there and will be huge and it will be powerful. I think the most powerful platform eventually in the world, because none of the Googles or Apples can eventually achieve that, but what government could do together with private sector. If like those forces are put together, then the legislative part is there. All the services can be consumed digitally, very user friendly and so that those things what we consider today as normal things, like I don't know, uploading your electricity bills on internet to scale, or like those things are not necessary after 5 years. Like there will be thousands of fintech and blockchain and other applications on top of e-residency app store, and you can take this e-residence card and you can access them directly wherever you are, wherever you're living at that point in time.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that sounds great. It's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out in the future. I'm curious as to whether there have been some other countries that have talked to you guys. Maybe they're thinking about doing something similar. Has there been anybody else that's interested in what you're doing?
Yes, usually neighbors are copying everything what you're doing. So neighboring countries definitely. Then in Europe also there are initiatives by the Netherlands. We have seen initiatives by Singapore, and eventually when you start considering it, then e-residence eventually, like every country has its own e-residence, because if all the services are moving to digital channels, but like that's for sure, right? The services are moving to digital channel. Then the only question is why one country should only keep those services to their own citizens and residents, and have like very costly, very bureaucratic, very physical channels to non-residents. And that just doesn't make sense, because it's cheaper to make it digitally to everybody. And this is e-residency, offering services digitally to everybody internationally. And they see, I don't see any reasons why there should be a country which wouldn't follow that path. I think after 5 years, we already see like 5, 6 governments. After 15, 20 years, definitely most of the world governments.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. It's going to be interesting to see how things play out, especially with the blockchain and all those types of technologies that are being incorporated, and as Mac was talking about, the RFID and stuff like that. So very exciting. So if people are interested in getting more information and if they want to go ahead and sign up, then what do they need to do?
Yes, then definitely once again eresident.co.de, and there are contacts there. You can ask questions from the FAQ or feedback part also. There are contacts also from private sector, like who can help you throughout this. Establishing companies like Leap-in or One Office Group, or you can find others there, and try it out. Nothing can be, I think, taken like very gradually. That now it's done the decision and I'm going. Just try it out. What services there are? What are the processes? Where should I start paying taxes? And if it is easier for you, then I think there are lots of Estonians who would help you, and lots of e-residents who would help you. There is e-residency community group, e-res network. If you Google it, e-res network, and there you can chat with other e-residents. There are Facebook group of e-residents. You can ask help there. So the guidance is there. Ask advice, and just be aware that the program is just 1 year old, so there are obstacles. Sometimes you need to Google Translate some Estonian. So, and those things we are changing on the go. What is important to understand is that this is like real government priority. This is real thing what we're doing, and we are like growing fast, and we are changing fast. And you can be part of that journey from very early on.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool thing to be part of, to see how this all shakes out and to be involved. Even if I think a lot of people are signing up, even if it's not kind of a strategic move, it's just something that they believe in and they want to see how it all works out. So, well, anyways, I really appreciate you taking the time to answer our questions today, and we'll definitely keep in touch with you and see how this is working out. And I think a lot of people maybe here and some people watching hopefully they'll be going over there to sign up for an e-residency. So, thanks for joining us and answering the questions. I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, somebody asked about money. What is how much does it cost?
100 euros is e-residency application. I can't hear you, but it was nice to speak to you, and thank you for your time and very interesting questions. And of course, on internet, you can find me and you can contact with me, and we can chat further if you want.
Very good. Thank you very much, Kasper. And thanks everybody for joining us.
Bye-bye.